Are we going to watch the crash?
All right, let's watch the crash.
Okay, guys, we're back to the last lap. I'm here doing the final little effort in the lead out. As you can see, putting a little bit of pain on the guys behind. It looks like people are losing Jeff's wheel a little bit. Right as I swing off, Andy starts his sprint, and I'm losing all sorts of speed as we're entering the final corner. Creates a little bit of traffic behind me, and as you can see, it doesn't end well for these guys.
That speed differential is like 3 or 4 miles an hour, which is huge.
It certainly could be that much. Yeah, it looked like Sam came up behind me, maybe misjudged the speed differential, had to apply the brakes, and lost his front wheel.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he hit you at first, but I think he just lost traction.
That's what it looks like to me, too. He definitely hit me, but I think that was already after he was crashing. I felt something nudge my back wheel.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Suisun Harbor Criterium P12, and I have a special guest with me today. This is Roman Kilun. How do I say it?
Kilun.
Kilun. That was close. He is from Team Mike's Bikes, and I've been wanting Roman on for a while. Roman is definitely a strong man in the P12 field here in Northern California, and you guys know I've had his teammate Chris on, and this is a race I haven't done in about 7 years, and as you can see, it's a hot dog. So let's talk you through a lap of this course. Was there any wind today? I can't remember.
Hey guys, yeah, there was a bit of wind. Looking at this map, it was blowing from right to left, kind of from the east, off the water.
And oh, there's the sparkly purple bike. So you guys had 5 of you?
4
of you.
Yeah, we had 4 guys. Myself, Cooper Shanks, Matt Chatleon, and Andy Gessling.
And Matt has beat me in a heads-up sprint a couple of times this year, at least. A couple that I can remember pretty handily. So so our plan coming in was to prevent... Oh, by the way, Team Tehroon, there were 6 of us in this race. And we wanted just to make sure that that it didn't come down to a heads-up sprint with Matt. We wanted to make Team Mike's Bikes do some work, hopefully get into a breakaway, and try to either make you guys chase. You guys are the other big team out there, along with SP2, or leave Matt behind, and hopefully I could out-sprint what remains of the field. But that's easier said than done.
Yeah, it sounds like a good tactic. Looking at this race for us, this one, I'd say it's a little bit of a sleeper in a way. It's only 4 corners. It's fast, but it tends to be harder than it looks on paper. Usually there's a little bit of wind. The corners are tight, so there's not much opportunity to move up. You have to move up in the straightaways. The temperature is a little bit hot, and the field, because it's small, doesn't give you much room to hide. In a way, it almost feels a little bit like a points race on the track, where you just go round and round and round, and then sometimes the elastic will snap. And so that's what I was kind of expecting on this day.
It's like NASCAR on a bicycle.
Yeah, especially on this course, yeah.
It's really short course, too. That last corner, which we just came through, this is the start-finish straightaway here. Only maybe 200 meters, 175 meters from that last corner to the finish line, and it's ripping fast. So it's important to be like top 3, I want to say, maybe even first coming out of that last corner if you want to go for the win.
Yeah, I'm no sprinter, but that seems about right to me. A couple other interesting things. If you can see here coming out of turn 2, there's some cones and road markings that kind of make it a reduced radius, especially coming out of the exit of the turn, make it a little extra technical. Going into turn 1, there was some weird melted rubber on the road that was making my tire squirm a little bit, that made me think about how to pick my line. And then the exit of turn 3 coming into this section, again, the road's real narrow, so you definitely have to think about how you're going to make that turn.
Here I go following an attack, which is following a breakaway of my teammate up the road. But let's jump forward a little bit, and we can talk about maybe how this race unfolds. This is early on right here. We can maybe go about halfway through and then talk about what's happened.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're about halfway through the race, and there's been a lot that's happened that we kind of skipped over. There's been a lot of breakaways off the front. There's been a lot of chasing of them back, and then the counterattack, and nothing's really stuck though. But right now, there is a group. It's probably like 7 riders off the front, and Team Mike's Bikes, Roman's team, has like 4 guys up there. Roman's up there, in fact.
I think we had 3 guys up the road at this point. So the only one of our guys is still in the field is Matt.
And we had 2. But Matt's their sprinter, and I'm Tehran's sprinter on this particular day. So like I want to get across, and Matt wants to get across, and boom! So there goes Matt up the road, and I absolutely have to chase this down, because if Matt gets across, he's going to join all 3 of his teammates, and then they're going to immediately get on the gas, and that's going to be day over for everybody else. So he kind of forces my hand here. I have to do this big effort. Fortunately, he's having to do a pretty big effort too. So so it's kind of a wash here, and
You guys are going fast right there.
yeah, this hurts for sure. I'm definitely committed to getting across, because like I said, I can't really take my time and get across at 375 watts. I have to really push it hard, because once Matt makes the connection, then Roman, you're just gonna get to the front. In fact, I could see you get to the front just a minute ago.
Yeah, that was the plan. And on one level, you might say that type of tactic, sending your 4th guy across to the break, is maybe foolish or greedy. But when we were looking at this race, we thought it's a small field, the course is hard. Any effort that you're going to make, like any effort that Matt makes, is going to force somebody else like Jeff or Josh Carling to make that same effort. So as long as you're not putting yourself too far in the box, it should be fine. And Matt was really motivated to win this race, so he saw the writing on the wall. He thought that break was dangerous, and he went across.
Yeah, and you have to think too, even though if you have numbers up the road, that doesn't necessarily translate into a win. I mean, it could be like a top 3 or something, but you got to look at the composition of the group that you're in, and if you have like Josh Carling, SP2 sprinter, in that group with you, and no Matt, no other sprinter who could possibly beat Josh, then Matt has to get across, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't remember if Carling was in that group or not. But it did look, I think I recall at that moment, it kind of seemed like maybe the field was getting a little bit tired, and that break did have some strong guys in it.
Yeah, so I think this effort here did force kind of a selection. We were shedding guys throughout the race just from all the surging and the attacking. But this was a big effort, and I think a good like 10 or 15 riders were shelled after that effort. And this is basically the group that was up the road, and then Matt and I, who came across, and a handful of other riders that made it across. This was the final group of the day. So not really a breakaway per se, but just like attrition. The riders that made it to the end. So speaking of the end, let's jump towards the last few laps and see how to execute a lead out, and maybe how to not execute a lead out.
Yeah, maybe we can go to like 6 or 7 laps to go. There were some interesting things that happened there too.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. All right, hey guys, welcome back. We are right towards the end now, and there have been a few developments actually. We're coming into 6 laps to go, and I'm going to kick it to Roman, explain what's been going on.
Yeah, so for the last 5 laps or so, there's been 3 guys off the front. My teammate Cooper Shanks, Jeff's teammate up the road, Andrew, and a French rider who we don't know much about named Maxime. They've been holding a gap of about 15 seconds, and SP2 and A-Main have been chasing. Looks like Jeff's sitting here towards the back of the group. I was sitting like 3rd wheel at this point. And we were definitely thinking about what to do in this situation, whether we should try to make a plan for Cooper getting caught, or see if he can stay away. You can see here there are groups about to make contact, so it became a moot point. But Jeff was curious about our tactics, and what I was thinking was that as the race got closer to the end, the last 2 laps, I would try to give Cooper as much time as possible to attack, get away solo, make a play for the win. But if it was looking like it was close, there was any chance that group from the field could bridge across, or he would be caught in the sprint, then we would take the initiative and do the lead out regardless, even if that meant catching him, because at least then it would be on our own terms.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, because we had our teammate Andrew up the road. You could just see him, and now he's behind me. He was up the road also. We were content letting Andrew stay up the road and battle it out for the win, but it becomes an interesting thing where Do you try to solo across? Do you try to, on your own terms, chase it back? And that's always a tough decision. I was sitting at the back because, like I said, I was fine letting Andrew battle it out up the road, and I didn't want to have to respond to people potentially trying to jump across and all that surging. I was really trying to save my legs. It'd been a pretty rough race, really difficult race up until this point.
Yeah, so from our side of things, right now, as you can see, we're on the front right there, all four of us. Cooper did an incredible job after being in that late breakaway, slotting right back in and giving us a couple of good laps of riding tempo. Basically just needed him to make it to somewhere, just past 2 laps to go. And then I would take over from there. There was also an SP2 rider that was quite strong. Him and Cooper were swapping off. He was doing a great job as well.
Do you guys have ideas when you're doing your lead out, like maybe milestones, like at 1 lap to go, you're gonna be down to like 2 guys. At 4 laps to go, you're gonna have 4 guys, that sort of thing, or do you just kind of play it by ear?
Yeah, you definitely do. I think for myself, I try to just rely on my instincts. It's hard to make it very definitive plan before the race. In this instance, my goal was to have Andy and Matt at top speed, essentially coming out of this corner. And if I could go any further on the last lap past this corner, that would be kind of bonus. But yeah, so the goal was whatever I could do to get these guys to that the second turn.
Yeah. The reason I ask is you guys usually get the timing so well. I mean, is it something you practice, lead outs, as a team?
We've practiced in the past. We don't so much now. A lot of it, I think, comes down to experience and just instinct, and honestly, not doing too much.
Yeah.
The mistake I see people generally doing is they do too much too early, and then they don't have the legs to really make it fast at the end. And ultimately, that's all that matters. Is it doesn't matter how fast you go or how cool you look. From 5 to go till 1 to go, it really matters how fast you're going at 1.
Yeah. And like what I've said in some of my other videos is you don't want to you want to go the speed that is going to prevent people from attacking over the top and no faster, because like even if you can go faster in your lead out, all you're going to do is expose your sprinter at the very end of the race and kind of leave them high and dry with too few lead out guys too long to go.
Yeah, and really the absolute worst, and this is where I took over right here. We're about to hit 1 to go. The absolute worst thing you can do in a lead out is have your speed diminish. You, especially in the end, you really want your speed to be constantly ramping up, because as soon as the speed drops, the guys behind that are in the draft, they're going to have the momentum and they're going to be able to sling by you.
So you can see in contrast to Mike's pretty pro lead out here, you see us kind of stumbling around here as a team. We don't really. We put a lot of stock in a breakaway, and when that didn't work out the way we wanted it to, of course, now it's back together for a field sprint. You can see we're disorganized. This is last lap, by the way. I'm on my teammate's wheel, but I have another teammate, Zach, you can see passing on the right there, and he yells at me. I can't hear him, though. In the last lap, you get tunnel vision. So now he takes this outside line, and now I'm kind of exposed by myself here, not taking an ideal line. And to be honest, at this point, Mike's is just drilling it so hard on the front that it's just too little too late for me. I take pretty good corners through here. You can see a crash in my rear view. There are a couple corners to go. I scream at Zach right here, just go, and I'm just unloading all the watts, all of them, right here in the final straight. But it's just not enough. Look at Matt, like a boss, like several bike lengths, pretty easy. Looks like I got second. I actually got third. Josh had a really good line. Whoa, made it through the barriers there. Josh had a good line, ended up taking second. But we didn't really plan our lead out accordingly. We weren't really cohesive like Mike's was, and you can see the result of that.
Yeah, I was proud of our execution at this race with 4 guys. It was a good challenge, animating the race, being in all the breakaways and then still putting it together for a good lead out. Felt great. Having Matt win felt great. Ice cream sandwiches were well deserved.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, and by the way, you guys won yesterday too. So congrats on a winning weekend. And hey, thanks for coming on, man. It was nice speaking with you, Roman.
Thanks.